Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when dreams feel distant, goals seem impossible, and motivation fades away. In those moments, people look for inspiration, for a spark, for a miracle that will move them forward. But the truth is, no miracle will come unless we create it ourselves. And that miracle is called discipline. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's not about doing everything right, it's about showing up even when it feels wrong. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny, between wishing for something and working for it. The greatest version of you is not born from comfort, but from commitment, and that commitment is built through discipline. Discipline is the silent architect of success. There is a quiet force that builds champions long before the world calls them successful, and that force is discipline. It works when no one claps for you, when no one acknowledges your effort, and when no one sees the sacrifices you make behind closed doors. Discipline doesn't shout for attention. It whispers in silence, saying, "Keep going. Your time will come." It builds character in the dark so that when the light shines, you are ready to handle it with grace. Every successful person you admire today has walked the lonely road of discipline. They have faced rejection, fatigue, and doubt, yet they chose to keep building. They understood that success is not about sudden breakthroughs, but about quiet, consistent construction. Discipline lays the foundation of greatness, one small act at a time. And it is through these daily acts that dreams take shape and purpose gains power. When you choose discipline, you are choosing the harder path, the path of effort over excuses. You are saying yes to growth and no to comfort. It's the decision to show up even when you don't feel like it, to practice when no one watches, to keep your promises when quitting looks easier. That's how discipline shapes you into someone unstoppable. Discipline doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. It reminds you that small efforts done daily will always outweigh massive efforts done occasionally. It doesn't care about your mood, it only cares about your movement. The days you least want to show up are often the days that build you the most. The beauty of discipline is that it transforms time into a tool for success. What others see as ordinary days, you turn into stepping stones towards something extraordinary. Discipline turns your routine into your masterpiece, your repetition into your reputation. It teaches you that the process is never wasted. Every drop of effort is building something unseen but powerful within you. And when the world finally notices your success, they'll call you lucky. But only you will know the truth. It wasn't luck, it was discipline. It was those unseen mornings, those quiet nights, those endless repetitions. It was your silent architect, patiently building your success story brick by brick, day by day. Because discipline never promises you quick rewards, but it always promises lasting results. And that's the kind of success worth working for. Discipline turns pain into power. Life is not always kind. It will test you, stretch you, and sometimes break you down just to see if you can stand tall again. But discipline turns those painful moments into opportunities for transformation. It teaches you to endure discomfort with dignity, to face struggles with strength, and to find meaning in the midst of pain. Discipline tells you that your suffering is not senseless, it's shaping something stronger inside you. Pain is a part of growth, but discipline is what gives that pain a purpose. It's the force that makes you train when your body is sore, study when your mind is tired, and believe when your heart feels heavy. Discipline teaches you that pain is not a punishment. It's the price of progress. Every ache, every failure, every tear is proof that you are alive and moving forward. There's beauty in struggle when discipline guides you through it. Because when you remain consistent in hardship, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the author of your destiny. You start realizing that the moments that hurt you most are the same moments that build your inner strength. Discipline transforms your wounds into wisdom and your challenges into courage. When you live with discipline, you stop fearing pain. You begin to embrace it as a sign of growth. You understand that comfort never made anyone stronger. It's the pain that sculpts your spirit, the hardship that toughens your heart, and the persistence that refines your power. Discipline is not about avoiding pain, but about learning how to rise through it. Every great story begins with struggle, and every powerful person has walked through pain. What separates the broken from the unbreakable is discipline. The choice to rise when you fall, to continue when you crumble, and to rebuild when everything seems lost. That's how pain becomes power. The truth is, without pain, there is no progress. And without discipline, pain only remains pain. But when you combine the two, you ignite transformation. You become someone who doesn't just survive storms, you become the storm itself. And that is the power of disciplined pain. It turns your breaking point into your breakthrough. Discipline is the language of self-respect. When you are disciplined, you send a powerful message to yourself that you matter, your dreams matter, and your goals are worth fighting for. Discipline is the highest form of self-love because it requires you to do what's best for you even when it's not easy. It is not about punishment, it's about purpose. It's saying, I will not betray myself for temporary comfort. Every act of discipline is an act of self-respect. When you follow your routines, keep your promises, and show up for yourself, you build a bond of trust with your own soul. You stop seeking validation from others because you find it in your own commitment. Discipline is the daily proof that you believe in your potential, that you refuse to settle for mediocrity. Self-respect is not built by words, it's built by actions. When you are disciplined, you no longer allow laziness or excuses to define you. You start walking with pride because you know you have control over your life. Discipline teaches you boundaries. It teaches you to say no when it matters and yes when it counts. When you live without discipline, life feels chaotic. You feel lost, distracted, and disconnected. But when you live with discipline, everything aligns. You start experiencing peace not because life becomes easier, but because you have become stronger. Discipline becomes your compass, guiding you toward the person you were meant to be. The more disciplined you are, the more respect you have for your journey. You stop comparing yourself to others because you know your story is sacred. You begin to appreciate the effort behind your progress, and you find joy in your dedication. Discipline doesn't just shape your habits, it reshapes your identity. It's not about being strict with yourself. It's about being sincere with yourself. You owe yourself the commitment to become who you were created to be. And every time you stay consistent, you are keeping that promise alive. Because discipline is not a cage, it's the language of freedom spoken through self-respect. Discipline creates freedom, not restriction. So many people run from discipline because they think it limits them, but in truth, discipline is what sets you free. It frees you from chaos, confusion, and procrastination. It gives you control over your choices, over your time, and over your life. Discipline is not a chain. It is a key that unlocks your highest potential. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is having the strength to do what you must. When you are disciplined, you are no longer a slave to your impulses or emotions. You learn to act based on values, not moods. You gain power over yourself, and that is the most profound form of freedom any human can experience. Discipline organizes your life in a way that brings peace, not pressure. It creates space for creativity, clarity, and confidence. When your mind is focused and your habits are aligned, you stop wasting energy on regret and start investing it in progress. Discipline simplifies your path so you can walk it with grace. When you live without discipline, you are constantly reacting to life. But when you live with it, you become the designer of your destiny. You stop drifting through days and start directing them. You begin to see time not as something that passes you, but as something you command. That is the freedom. Discipline brings the freedom to live intentionally. True freedom is not about escaping responsibility, it's about embracing it with pride. It's waking up each day knowing you are in charge of your outcome. Discipline gives you that sense of control, that inner authority that says, I am capable, I am committed, I am free. You start realizing that structure doesn't suffocate joy, it sustains it. Because when your life has order, your mind has peace. You find liberation in consistency, and you find joy in accountability. That is how discipline becomes the root of freedom. And once you taste that kind of freedom, you will never want to live any other way again. Discipline transforms ordinary days into extraordinary results. The most extraordinary people are not born different, they simply live differently. They understand that greatness is hidden in ordinary days. Discipline is what transforms those ordinary days into something remarkable. It's what turns simple routines into legacies. Every small act, every repeated effort, every moment of consistency, it all adds up to something incredible over time. Discipline teaches you to appreciate the power of the present. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start working in the moment you have. You realize that every day counts, that every choice is a seed, and every seed, when nurtured, becomes a garden of success. Discipline is how you plant those seeds consistently, patiently, faithfully. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't need an audience. You may not see results today or tomorrow, but with time, those small acts compound into something beautiful. Discipline teaches you that progress is not always visible, but it's always happening. The world may not see your effort, but it will one day witness your transformation. Each morning, you choose to stay consistent. You are rewriting your destiny. Discipline gives meaning to your repetition and purpose to your persistence. It shows you that excellence is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters every single day. When you look back, you'll realize it wasn't one big leap that changed your life. It was the 1,000 small steps you took with discipline. It was the mornings you didn't skip, the promises you didn't break, the effort you didn't withhold. That's how ordinary becomes extraordinary. Discipline doesn't demand brilliance, it demands belief. The belief that your daily efforts matter, that your consistency will pay off, and that your patience will be rewarded. It's not about speed, it's about stamina. And when the time comes, you look at the life you've built not with pride in perfection, but with pride in persistence. Because discipline was never just a habit, it was your way of honoring your purpose. In the end, life will always test your patience, your courage, and your will to stay consistent. There will be days when your dreams feel too far and your energy too low. There will be times when the world around you celebrates shortcuts and you wonder if discipline is even worth it. But those are the moments when discipline shows its true beauty, not in making the journey easy, but in making you stronger. Discipline doesn't promise instant rewards, it promises real transformation. It doesn't guarantee quick success, it guarantees lasting growth. When you stay disciplined, you are not just building achievements, you are building yourself. And that version of you, calm, focused, and unstoppable, is the greatest reward life can give. Discipline is everything because it gives meaning to every effort, power to every dream, and strength to every struggle. It is the invisible thread that ties your actions to your ambitions, your patience to your progress, your faith to your future. It transforms chaos into clarity and turns confusion into confidence. Discipline is not just what you do, it becomes who you are. It becomes your silent companion in the dark, your unwavering strength in the storm, your guiding light when the path fades away. So when life gets hard and your heart feels tired, remember this: motivation will come and go, but discipline will always stay. And as long as you hold on to it, nothing in this world can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be.